Ladies and gentlemen, the following is another amazing episode of the Wrestling Fans Podcast, Ringside Society. In one corner, we have the greatest thing on God's green earth. And we're not talking about money, Mary Jane, or Popeye Spin. He is the tranquil dart of Ringside Society, Delaware's greatest American hero. And whenever he orders a burrito from Taco Bell, he asks for a chief burrito because he's made of chicken and beef. He's Rob Bass, and you are not. And the second quarter, we have that ocean crossing, straight up Boston, flight catching, shot glass snatching, always positive, life is great, repping 592, living in the 718. No cap, straight facts, the worldwide starboy, Remy Blue. And our special guest tonight is a man who actually fought for his country. That's right, he is a veteran. He is a United States Air Force veteran, now professional wrestler, and also a certified personal trainer. And this weekend, for those of you that are in Houston, Delaware, and surrounding areas, he'll be teaming with Pure Ignorance at 1CW's. I don't know what the name of the show is. Rob, help me out here. You know it better than I do. You're actually a referee there.
I'm not sure what the name is either. I forget. I got the memory of a goldfish.
It's going to be a great show.
Yeah.
Everybody, welcome to the show, Red Dawg. No, not Rodney Mack. Red Dawg.
Woo!
Yo, what is up, man? Yo, thanks for the intro, bro.
You're welcome, man. It's a thing we do, We try to be a bit different and everything, man. So yeah, hey, thank you for actually, taking time out of your busy schedule to be on our show. We really and truly do appreciate it. That's why you've actually been on our radar for a while, and then we were like, wait, Veterans Day is this week? Is this Friday actually? So we're like, who should we have? We should do something for the vets. We should have somebody representing the men and women that have fought in the armed services and whatnot. And then we were like, boom! Oh wait, Red Dog's actually he's actually a veteran. So let's go ahead and have him on. So here we are.
Yeah. Yo, I appreciate it though. I mean, I need to throw out too, right? Is that I have lots and lots of friends who are actually in the wrestling community who are also veterans as well. Pay attention to Fight Club Pro Wrestling, Johnny Cross, the Pan African World Diaspora Champion herself, Trisha Dora, another great veteran. One of my friends who's currently working for AEW, Derek Pizzatoro, Roman Roselle, who is a Green Beret. He actually he wrestles at Arizona. Kyle Shaddix over in St. Louis. So there's so many great people who are veterans and also need to get that love and appreciation as well. I know another person, he's Air Force as well, Will Knox. So yeah, there's a lot of great people out there who are all veterans, and they should all also get that love treatment as well.
Yeah, definitely. We'll definitely get to them eventually. It's just like I said, it's a case of like we know so many wrestlers, but it's like so little time. Like I said,
Oh
we're
yeah.
like Professor. Like not a matter of who we can have on, is who we should have on first, and so on, and how soon can we have them on, and so on. So trust me, we're definitely tracking on everybody. It's just so many. But I just gotta say first off, thank you very much for your service. I know it wasn't easy. I'm actually a veteran myself. I was in the Navy for active duty for 7 years. I know it's not easy being away from family and friends, and you gotta go on those deployments, or sometimes you gotta just serve time in a faraway country. I did 3 years in Japan, so this is not about me, but I'm just saying I know what you went through, and I commend you for stepping up, taking the oath, and defending your country.
No, I appreciate it a lot. I was fortunate enough that I was in Hawaii for 5 years. That's where I was stationed out. But I mean, I went, from Italy to Germany, did 8 months in Iraq, and then spent some time over in Qatar. So I mean, I've kind of been around, bounced around here and there and everywhere. So, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. And Wyatt, okay, Wyatt, we Rob told me you've been aching to be on the show. We'll have you on real soon, man. Trust me. Your time will
Someone
come.
please check on Wyatt's neck. Is he
I was gonna
okay?
say he's dead right now. We gotta ignore that. He's dead. He's a ghost. You don't see that. He's a ghost. He's dead.
I was like, someone should really check on him. Just make sure that he's doing good. You know, maybe some ignorant dogs maybe had something to do with that. You know what I mean?
So Red Dog, I gotta ask you, man. Let's take a time traveling trip back into the past. And how'd you become a fan of pro wrestling? What was the match or pay per view that you saw that made you tune in? From that point forward.
Yeah, so it was like 1992. I'm an 80s baby. Like I know someone else. Maybe the Spice Ranger. So
83, 40 next year. So trust me, don't feel bad.
yeah, I'm an 85 kid. So like I'm right around that block. No, it was like 1991, 1992. Saturday morning, I was in Colorado with my aunt, and my aunt was like, "Hey, it's Saturday morning. Let's watch some wrestling and stuff." So we put on wrestling, and I watched this dude get wrapped up in the top rope and the middle rope, and like he's like struggling to get out of the ropes, and then like this dude has this like cobra, and he like pisses off the cobra, and the cobra like starts biting the other dude, and I got so entranced with what was going on. I was just like, "Yo, what is this?" My aunt was like trying to cover my eyes, and it was Jake the Snake, man, when he the Cobra on Macho Man, and it's like one of those memories that like bores into my mind. Every time I think about it, I get hyped because it's like, how many people can actually say that their first wrestling experience was that moment?
Oh man, I would never forget. That was a shocking moment, man. I I can only imagine how the people felt that were actually seeing that live. But when I saw that on network TV, they actually censored it out. And I was like, wow, he really had the snake bite Macho Man. That's crazy. But that butt whooping he got
Remember,
at
like
the main
his
event.
remember when remember when they had the no symbol like every single time, like they saw the cobra bite, like it just now. I'll never forget seeing it. Was one of like the wildest things I can remember.
Yeah, man. Let me tell you that butt whooping he got from Macho Man. Whenever they met again, woo, he beat him like he stole something. Jeez, that was brutal, man. That's one of the worst. That's one of the worst whoopings I
Yeah,
saw in like I can't. That's one of the top 10. I put on top 10. Macho Man, beating the stuffing out of Jake Roberts, and plus he slapped Elizabeth too. So that just incensed him even more.
yeah,
Yeah,
that was a whole new level of like, holy
as a
cow.
matter of fact, wasn't that the same? Rob, you probably know better than me. Wasn't that the same main event where Piper fought the Mountie, and the Mountie kept like tasing him, and Piper was all shaken, and then next thing you know, for some reason he wouldn't take off his shirt. Piper wouldn't take off his shirt, but I think he ended up tasing the Mountie with his own taser. And then when he wins the match, I think he actually won the title from the Mountie, and he takes off his shirt, and you see shockproof. So he was wearing a vest all the time, but he was just acting like he was getting shocked.
Yeah, I can't remember. It might have been that one. I don't know. I can't remember. That was so long ago, man. Like I said, I'm in my 40s. You know what I mean? So it's hard to remember. Get that get that memory going.
I tell you, Roddy Piper, man, that man was something else. So
Yes, one of the best talkers in the game. I love Roddy Piper.
yeah, I always said that, and I don't know. My theory was if you ever took, I always said Roddy Piper and Ric Flair were kind of the same person. Just that if you took the women and the limousines away from Ric Flair, you put him in a kilt and a leather jacket, you got Roddy Piper, and vice versa. If you took away the kilt and put on a suit on Roddy Piper and put the women with him and the limousines, you got Ric Flair. So they were pretty much like the same person, just two different. One was portrayed as a rich man, the other one was like your common guy that just didn't really care either, your everyday guy.
Yeah, yeah, no, I love both those. They're very like, witty and quick. They always had something new to say. They were just their master of words, and I it's like that's what I am today.
Yeah. So did you ever get to go to any of the events live or any of the WrestleManias before you became a wrestler, or were you just like watching the pay-per-views and the weekly shows and so on?
So actually, let's see, the first wrestling event I went to actually was in Hawaii. Um, it and a lot of people remember this was the day that Ryback actually broke his leg. I was at that event. It was a WWE live event, and he had broken his leg. I was there that day that it happened. Um, and then the next show I actually went to wasn't until what was it, NXT Bel Air actually a few years ago. Grabbed my daughter. I was like, "Yo, let's go check out NXT Bel Air," and we watched. It was the last match before Damian Priest became Damian Priest. He was still Punishment Martinez. So it was the last match of Punch versus Keith Lee in WWE at NXT Live, and then that match would end up showing up like a month later. And then and then I went to a couple AEW events, but I never really went to a lot of like the wrestling events. I just like watch it on TV, and then I don't know. Now being there, it's like I couldn't imagine like anywhere else I'd rather be. Just like in the arena, just watching the shows live. Like it's a whole different feeling.
Yeah, it definitely is. There's nothing like going to, and I noticed that there's a difference between going to an indie wrestling event live and going to like a WWE and AEW event live as well too. To me, WWE and AEW, the atmosphere was kind of like the same in my opinion, but in independent wrestling events, they're just like a whole different vibe. It's like like if you keep going there, it's like a family gathering pretty much. So that's just what I think
Yeah,
of it. Yeah. So
yeah.
now that you're a
It's
fan,
you're not wrong. I mean, I was like, you're not wrong in that sense. The one thing I know is like when we were at being at one CW especially, there's like these two fans that are always like hassling me, always. So they know like I'm showing up this Saturday. They're always talking to me. They're always like trying to put me down. You know, sometimes you just got to be like John Cena, rise above it. But it is what it is, man. Like, but I enjoy seeing them. Like every single time I see them, I get hyped. Like I'm like, oh great, you're here, sweet.
is it? I mean, I would have them on, but I mean, I don't know. I don't. Because we have another segment called 15 Minutes of Fandom, but at the same time, it's like we don't really have toxic fans on here because we're not trying to be a platform for people to come on here and bash somebody. I mean, if you have your own opinion, fine, but just don't be obnoxious. So I don't know, but
I love everybody. I have no problem like ever like getting upset with anybody. If a fan legitimately dislikes me, it's not on me. I'm not worried about it at all.
yeah, yeah, you just got to keep going. I mean, you're
Yeah.
living your dream. You made your goal, and they're paying money to see you. So they're paying money, and they're paying time too. So yeah, it is what it is. So speaking of fans, like, how did your journey go from being a fan to now Red Dawg, the wrestler, now one fourth of the ignorant dogs?
So, going from like I guess being a fan into being a wrestler. I always thought like the plan was to always be a pro wrestler. Even when I got out of the military, I wanted to kind of pursue that avenue, but I just didn't know how. And it wasn't until a few years ago where I was in the gym and I saw a friend of mine. He was wearing a John Cena T-shirt, and we started talking about like wrestling and stuff and really getting back into it. And I was like, "Yo, how do I get into that?" And so it took about 10 months, but I kind of got into the direction of where I started getting trained at. And once I started getting the training, then it was just like, let me kind of run with everything and just see what I can do. And, it's funny because like you mentioned like Red Dawg as far as like a wrestler, but Red Dawg has always been like a thing that's been with me forever. For those who don't know, you'll find out firsthand. My first name is Clifford, just like the big red dog, and that's where the name comes from. So it's not like a big hidden secret, right? It's just something that happened. But going from like elementary school to junior high school to college to military to I don't know everywhere in between. Like the Red Dog has always been a thing, and that character is just me cranked up to 1,000. And I love I don't know, it's crazy because like when I got in, people were trying to come up with like names for me and stuff like that. I was like, no, 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 no. There's only one name. It's always gonna be Red Dog. Like I'm getting into this business as Red Dog. I'm getting out of this business as Red Dog. As like this has been my dream to be running as this. And when you get bullied in high school, at some point in time, you either have to like step up and like decide that you're gonna take whatever they're trying to like make fun of you about and create it, make it your own, or you're just gonna kind of just stay bitter about it. And it was the one thing I did when kids were making fun of me in high school and talking trash about me. Like I decided I was like, well, the name Red Dog is just gonna stick with me. I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna run with it. And now there's a few other people out there who are recognizing and talking about me in the sense of like, oh, I remember how I used to make fun of that kid in high school, and now he's living his dream. So it's me, and I have a lot of fun with it. And the wrestling just became like another avenue of something I've always wanted to do, and here we are.
Man, that's pretty awesome that you were able to rise above, um, all the hate and all the bullying, and you actually took something that people tried to, make fun of you with, and made it, something that's your own, and you're successful with it. Now there's Red Dog merchandise, Red Dog shirts and all that stuff too. So, like, cool.
There's a
That's like, yeah, just like John Cena and Fruity Pebbles. Rock made fun of him and his shirts, and next thing you know, John Cena is on a segment where he's about to be interviewed, and they see him eating Fruity Pebbles, and then Fruity Pebbles actually ends up endorsing him a couple weeks later. So I mean, yeah, man. I mean, that the best thing, the best success, the best reaction is just to take what they're throwing at you and just roll with it. Worst they could do is say, "Hey, I give you that idea. Cut me a check. Or do you have proof that you actually gave that to me? That you actually
or better yet, like you get an email of all the people who are buying your merchandise, and you notice a couple of the names were the kids that were making fun of you, and you're like, hey, I know. Thank you. Thank you. That
yeah,
happened.
yeah, laugh all the way to the bank, man. That's how you got to do it. Yeah. So so now that you're Red Dog now, you're training and everything. I gotta ask you. So I'm not trying to be an instigator, but there's another wrestler who used to go by the name Red Dog. Another great guy. I just gotta ask you, man, if one day Sean Hardy came and said, "Hey, Red Dog, you're about to meet Rodney Mack," what would your reaction be? Because me, if I were a promoter, I would probably book y'all together just to freak people out. Like, wait a minute, Red Dog and Rodney Mack, but Red Dog is Rodney Mack. Rodney Mack is Red. What's going on? So, what would be your like frame of mind if that happened?
What's funny is that I originally, when I was in high school, I wanted like that spelling of the name, right? Reddddogg, right? I wanted that original spelling. And when I saw Rodney Mack, that was kind of like what inspired me to be like, yo, I could run with the Red Dog name in pro wrestling. What I didn't expect was that I was like, I didn't want to mimic anybody. So I was like looking for another way to spell it. So when I saw Georgia Bulldogs play, they had their name too. And so that's why I changed it over to the way it's spelled. How there. So I'm like, yeah, it's right there. Y'all see it right there. Anyway, so the DAWG. I think what it is, if I ever get the chance to meet Rodney Mack, the first thing I'm going to tell him is be like, hey, you are the reason why I wanted to run with the Red Dog name forever, right? Because I knew about him, since like the late 90s, right? And then to see him keep continuing having success in everything that he's doing, I was like, yeah, I would love to. I know recently somebody tagged me in a tweet, and they're like, yo, like, I would love to see Rodney Mack and Red Dawg as a tag team. And he liked it. And I was like, I would love to see this too. Like the Red Dogs running wild. Yeah, hell yeah. I was like, I'm all about that life, you know? So I saw it. But I would definitely, the one thing I would tell him first is I want to make sure that I throw my flowers to him and give my kudos because like, if it wasn't for Rodney, I don't know if I'd be running as a Red Dog. I might be another name, but he really was kind of like the big inspiration after like my sophomore year in high school. And I was like, I gotta run with this because he's doing it and no one's making fun of him. So I'm gonna do it too, and I'm gonna go about my business.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I would definitely be all for that. Like, see two of y'all actually, get in the ring and tag team. That'd be pretty cool. As well, especially Rodney being the veteran. You got you with the Air Force background. You got Rodney Mack with the veteran background and thing. I mean, that'd be pretty cool to see as well. And hopefully, like I said, they make it happen. I've seen some people going through 1CW, like Enzo and Big Cass, or I don't know what he's going by now, or Morrissey. I think that's who he's going by now, Morrissey. So who knows? Maybe we'll see Rodney Mack there real soon.
One can only hope. Someone like me, I can only hope, especially when seeing people like JTG. He also came through, and it was great meeting with him, and also the last real wrestler himself. Like those guys have all been through there, so I've been definitely hyped, paying attention and watching and asking those guys a lot of questions because I love getting as much information as I can and being able to utilize it.
Oh yeah. So tell us, man. So the ignorant dogs is for y'all. Your pure ignorance. You got Red Dawg. I gotta ask you how, because I looked you up one day. I saw you putting a whooping on Chaz, and I'm like, okay, he whooping on Chaz. Chaz must have did something, and he had to show him, what it is and what's up. But now all of a sudden, like Red Dogs with ignorant dogs. So what's going on here, man? Like what? Was it a misunderstanding or something?
Let's be real, okay? When it comes to ignorant dogs, Red Dawg is always under contract, always available at the sign because he is a mercenary who runs around and does whatever he wants. There's nothing that anyone's gonna do, especially when someone's nice and smooth and silky like me, because I just slide around and just do whatever I want to do. The one thing about it is that the pure ignorance, man, like those are homies. Like those are my boys. Like we will always ride together. We'll fight like brothers. Well, we treat her like brothers. Like it is what it is. The Don is he's always so great about doing the things that he does. Talking shit. That's what he does. He admits it himself, right? But the one thing I love is that if you go further back, you can see a match with myself and Prince Machiavelli. I mean, hey, money's money, and we fight like brothers, but we understand at the end of the day, paydays have got to be made. And when you contract a Red Dawg, I come through. Like I will be there to do whatever I got to do.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, that match y'all got. Oh man, it's going to tear the house down. I definitely know it. I'm actually jealous that Rob's actually over in Houston. He gets to see all the action up close. Rob, hopefully you don't get. Hopefully you're not refereeing that match. Hopefully you don't get hurt in that match, man. You know what I'm saying? Because ringside society, we don't offer health insurance here. So if you get caught up in something, bro, I mean, sorry you on you. I tell Kathy the same thing. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know why she's still doing things she does. But yeah, Kathy's our other co-host that does all the crazy hijinks as well too, and she has Roxanne Perez kicking her in the shins and so on. So yeah, yeah, that's what I do with. But I just got two more questions before I I turn it over to Rob. My second to last question, is with your Air Force training, right? Do you think it helped you a lot with your training as a pro wrestler, or is it like, or you still had a whole lot to learn?
Oh
Like,
no, I will always have things to learn. Yeah, there's no doubt. I'll always have things to learn in this business. That's always gonna be a given. Because one thing that I've come to learn is that if you feel like you've learned everything in this business, like you just need to get out because there's nothing to be taught. But I definitely feel like going from the college amateur, I don't know if you even knew, but I was a collegiate wrestler. So going from the college wrestling into the military and into pro wrestling has definitely been like a smoother transition than I thought it would be. It's still tough. Like there's no doubt about it, right? Like you're still doing a lot of things that you're not supposed to be. You're training your body to do things that you're not normally meant to do. But once you get a grasp of those things, everything becomes second nature. It just comes really quick. And it's something that my trainer has told me all the time. It's just that I you can tell me something, I'll learn it, and then I retain it ridiculously quick and just routine it. Um, but it's one thing that's wild though is that for me it's like I know where my body limits are going to be, so I don't have to like do anything like wild, right? But I've never taken for granted anything that's going to come off of it. So I've always told myself that like I'm always going to continue learning. I'm always going to continue growing. I'm going to continue pushing myself. Um, Fun fact for those who don't know, in my bag itself, there's a sponge in there because on my podcast, I asked a wrestler for some advice, and the one thing they said is to remind yourself that you're always a sponge and that you're soaking up knowledge. He's like, so I asked people to carry a sponge in their bag. And I thought that was such a cool thing to just kind of think metaphorically. And I was like, yo, so in my bag, there's a dry sponge and I carry it everywhere with me. And it goes to all the wrestling shows. So if you ever ask me, yo, what's in your bag? It's in there. And it's just to remind me that I'm a sponge and I'm here to learn. And so ask questions. And because the worst case that anybody's going to tell you is no. Best case, you're going to be like, hey, yo, take a seat with me. And then just download a whole bunch of stuff to you.
Awesome. That's a pretty awesome response. So my last question before I turn over to Rob, kind of Rob has a bunch of questions for you as well too, especially with him being at the show. Um, when you're getting ready to work out in the gym or you're getting ready to face your opponent, what are some songs that get you in the zone to face your opponent or to knock out that workout, those reps or that cardio that you're about to do?
Right now it seems like uh he's gonna laugh at me about this. DJ Khaled is like one of the things that's been playing a lot in my car lately, especially the new album with God did. So that's been like ridiculously playing in there, especially when I'm getting ready. I do have the Red Dawgs playlist. Actually, you can find it on Apple Play or Apple Podcasts. You can find it on their Apple playlist. I have it on their Apple Music store, and I have the playlist. And I ridiculously go through so many songs in there. But that's pretty much I really don't listen to a whole lot of music before I get ready for anything. But when I'm like in a weight room, I have my whole weightlifting list. What I do, and a lot of people know this because I talk about it a lot. I carry a bag of gummy bears with me everywhere. Every wrestling show, Rob knows because he's seen me walking around with a pack of gummy bears and just like snacking on the back. One thing I've learned is that if I don't have them, my anxiety goes through the roof and I get really nervous and I start forgetting things. So and they're regular gummy bears, guys, don't worry. Okay. But what happens is I start eating the gummy bears and my nerves start to kind of chill out and I start getting into like the right mindset that I'm supposed to be getting into. So yeah, that's my routine.
I mean, if it's the other kind of gummy bears that are like that keep you chill, I mean, nothing's wrong with that. I mean, hey,
I know. I'm like, don't
it's
judge.
legal.
Don't judge.
It's legal in most states. We don't judge here, so hey, by all means. But I gotta say, I'm gonna definitely turn it over to Rob. Yeah, gummy bears are always cool, especially the Coca-Cola ones. Those have a very unique flavor. It's like sweet, but it still tasting the bubbles like from the soda. So that's pretty cool. But I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to Rob. I know he has a bunch of questions. So Rob, go ahead, man. The floor is yours.
All right, sweet. Thanks, Remy. So what's going on, man? How you doing today?
Yo, I'm doing great, man. As far as like life couldn't be better, man. Like, I have a bunch of friends ask me for advice, and what was great was a friend of mine was like, "I need some positive positive things to get my day brightened," and I just wrote back. I was like, "If at first you don't succeed, skydiving was not your sport." And
There you go. Yeah, it definitely ain't your sport if you ain't succeeded that, man. Oh man. You imagine even if you bounce on that one, oh man, whoo, hitting the
The
ground.
bump on that would kill.
Oh yeah, it would. That'd be awesome. That'd be awful. So man, the first question I did have to ask is, man, why did the ignorant dogs have to kill Wyatt? Why they had to kill him, man? You know what I mean? Like, man, that his neck broken. You know what I mean? Just
Yo, I mean, points have got to be made. Like, even with them agreeing to the match, and they're like, "Hey, man, like, we'll give you the match. We'll do whatever it takes. Yeah, yeah, just leave him alone. Cool." Example still got to be made. Like, we're not gonna back up and be like, "Okay, thank you guys for the match." No, next has got to get broken, and that's what happened. So he got in the way. Shouldn't have. Should have probably been in the ring with the rest of those guys. It would have been safe. And the other part, real question that you probably should be asking is, why did Sean Carlson leave Wyatt alone in the back?
mm I don't know. Yeah, maybe those questions could be answered soon. You know what I mean? I don't know anything. All I know is why I
Also,
got his neck broken, and his mama came from New York, and his dad came from out west. And it was like, oh man, sorry for y'all. Sorry for y'all.
I don't know. Did you see where Chaz legitimately was like, "Oh, this is your son"? We were sitting next to him the whole time. He's like, "Oh, this is your son." Oh yeah, watch this.
Yeah, yeah. There you go. Oh man, that's what that. Yeah. Woo. Oh man. So how are y'all? Are you ready for this Saturday? It's supposed to be a gang rules match, man. Is it like a falls count anywhere situation, or is it just going to be weapons galore? Because I know it's going to be, and I'm going to quote Major Payne here: violence with extreme prejudice going on. You know what I mean? So y'all ready?
Listen, ignorant dogs are always ready. Our game is rated E for everybody. Hands, weapons, it doesn't matter. We adjust on the fly super quick. The one thing about us is one thing that you can tell unifies Red Dawg and pure ignorance, or ignorant dogs, if that's how you want to look at it, is that we're adaptable and we're moldable. Something that we've learned from being either in the streets or we've been in an actual war. Like we handle the terrain well. So one thing I can say is that you can expect us to be at 100. I don't know if you can say that all about, workhorses.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I don't know what's going on over there and stuff. Yeah, like you said with Sean disappearing. Hey, I don't know. Because the ignorant dogs, they definitely, y'all definitely made a statement and stuff. Just, woo. Speaking of, you saying y'all fighting E for everyone and stuff. I was doing a little research, man. I seen you're a gamer and stuff, man. I gotta ask, what are you playing now, and what are your favorite games to play, or what's your favorites, of all time, I guess.
Okay, so all time, number one is Battletoads and Mike Tyson's
Ooh,
Punch
okay.
Out. Yeah,
Ooh,
those are my
yes.
two
Yeah.
favorites. Back, Nintendo days. So we go. Sonic the
Nice.
Hedgehog, great. Always gonna be great. Big Master Chief fan, so I love Halo. Right now I'm playing Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, like because that just
Mhm.
came out. And then after that, a lot of the stuff I play is mobile now, so I'm really on my cell phone a
Yeah,
lot.
okay.
So between Dragon Ball Legends and the new Marvel Snap game, like I'm hooked. Like I've been playing that like crazy. So yeah, those would be my top games. Also, because I'm downloadable in that game, WWE 2K22. Yeah, I'm in that game too, so you can find me.
That's awesome. That's pretty awesome. I was actually messing with that past couple of days. I was doing the GM mode and stuff and all. I was just like, man, let me see what I can do and stuff, man. I'm going
And
to
now
see
you
it
can
tomorrow.
download yours truly in the game.
Yeah. Yep. Make it a champ and have the ignorant dogs, run roughshod and stuff like that, man.
Hey man,
Red
you
dogs
can
up there
let
tearing
Roman
it up.
you can let Roman and the rest of the bloodline know that they are the twos, because ignorant dogs are the ones. Know what I
There
mean?
you go. That's right. That's right. Yeah, man. So, yeah. Mobile gaming. I haven't really gotten into mobile gaming, man. Yeah, I've always, I got my 3DS. I'll take around and play with and stuff. I need to upgrade to a Switch. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, man, I've been trying to get a PS5 and Series S and all, but I'm like, they're having a hard time, and then games have been not, too good for it, and releasing too far apart. And I'm like, I don't know what to do with this generation, man. So I was like, maybe I'll just get a Switch. I might just break down
I'm
and
a
do that.
massive Switch fan. Like, my daughter has a Switch, and I probably play it more than she does. And I'm always jamming on Pokemon. Like, I'm not even gonna front. I'm a big that's my go-to. If I'm not doing anything else, probably play Pokemon.
I play Pokemon on there on the 3DS. I got whenever Christmas time comes around, my sister a new game comes out. My sister always gets me whatever it is. Like it was Sun and Moon. She got me both Sun and Moon. You know, what I mean, she doesn't get one, she'll get me both or whatever. And then like Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon came out next year, whatever. She'll hook me up. I'm like, all right, thank you. Always hooking it up. I don't know why, because I never got into them when I was younger or whatever. I didn't get into Pokemon until I was an adult. You know, I was just sitting there one day, just
Oh, he got cut out.
Yeah, I think he did. Rob,
It,
you there?
oh yeah, man, my bad, man. My internet was going in and out, man. It does that.
but no,
Yeah, we
you
were
were
talking
saying
about
that
Pokemon.
you're, yeah, you were
Yeah,
saying that you're
Pokemon. Yeah,
you
yeah.
just
I
started
never got into it
podcast.
until I was about an adult. Now, you know, I don't know why. You know, it was just one day I was sitting around. And I was like, I need something to play, and I seen it on the computer. You know, on some site or whatever. And I was like, let me try it out. I was like, man, this game's actually fun, man. All right, yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
And
it
my
starts
boy,
getting
my
like really hard. That's the problem is that the game
yeah.
like pulls you in and then you're like going through this adventure and then you're like, oh, I wonder how this ends. And then you beat like the final four and you become like
Mhm.
the champion. And then there's like missions after that. And
Mhm.
you're like, whoa, this game has like
Yeah.
a lot of playability.
Oh yeah. See, I have a friend. Yeah, he's been in Pokemon, since they came out and stuff. And I'll try and say the names of them. He just like I'm all wrong. I'm like horribly wrong, and he's just like, man, you need to watch the anime sometimes, man. Just like, geez, man, just like do that once, man. Watch the anime a couple times. I'm like, all right, man, I got you.
Nice, nice.
So, man, with the 3 Count podcast, man, how'd y'all start that and stuff, man? Because I seen y'all last month or whatever, doing y'all's thing, man. How's that going? How'd y'all get your start, man?
Yeah, so the Three Count podcast, I started on a podcast actually called Frankensteiner. Well, Franken Culture presents Frankensteiner. It was with one of my friends who I had worked with at GameStop, and his friend he knew out of Vegas. I brought Chaz on as a guest one time, and then he got bit by like the podcast bug and was asked me if I wanted to start it. So I told him, I was like, yeah, let's try a test. We can run a test episode with their promotion, and if it's cool, then we'll keep it going. If not, then we just go about our own business. Um, so we spent an episode. We had really great chemistry, so I was like, cool, let's just keep this going. I actually left uh, that podcast and came to the Three Count, and once we started that debate show actually started. I think it was like December 19th, like 2019, and so we just kept it going from there. And now we're about to hit our 4th year
Ooh,
uh, with our debate show, and our 3rd year in our show called Now Entering Ring. And then we have our second show that's still in its first season, Now Entering 201, which I'm very proud of. But yeah, that show, we started Now Entering Ring back in May of 2020, when after COVID and everything was just kind of like starting to open back up, which we kind of felt like was a missed opportunity because there was so much we could have asked like during that March, April timeframe, but we really didn't know like how to build up our content. So we started asking people, and then we were bringing on wrestlers like every single day and talking to them. I think in that first season we had like 79 episodes that we did from
ooh,
May to December. Um, and then the next year we were like, well, let's just figure out what we can do. So I think we did like 60 episodes again. Right? No, we did a little more than that because we ended up cracking our 200th episode officially January of early it was January like 8th of this year. So we're very excited to
all
have our
right.
200th guest. And then we have actually, as of last night, recording wise, we officially hit our 290th episode. So it's been a trip, man, and to be able to go out and grab wrestlers and talk to them and get advice and just learn from them. And then the debate show has been always fun. We do it live every Sunday, and it's just me and Chaz just going back and forth at each other, just yelling about whatever wrestling topics we can come up with.
There you go. That's right. That's right. Ain't nothing wrong with that, man. That's always awesome, man. So I do gotta ask, you're also like a personal trainer and stuff, man. I do gotta ask, how's that, like, do you have any ab workouts, because I got this one ab, it's right over here. I'm trying to accentuate it, you know what I mean? So, how do you help people out, with like, ab workouts and stuff? What's a
So
good
first,
ab workout?
the first thing I always ask is, how's your diet? Because if
Oh, awful.
you're going over to Burger King, you're like, yo, let me get like a number four, and let me get a number four extra large and a Diet Coke. I'd be like, start with that. Like, maybe don't get a large. Start with like a medium, right, or a small, right? Because you want the number one thing you want to do is you want to eliminate all sugars out of your diet, right? But you don't want to do a shock. A lot of people think that if I like They'll be like, oh, I'm gonna start my diet plan tomorrow, and I'm not gonna have any cookies. And then your body like just starts yearning for cookies, right? The first day you might be
Mm-hmm.
okay. You're like, oh, I survived, right? Day
Mm-hmm.
two, you're like, I want cookies.
Mm-hmm.
And then day three, you're like, maybe just one. And then what one cookie actually turns into one row, which then turns into one package, which then turns into one real bad feeling because you just gorged out
Mm-hmm.
on a whole bunch of cookies.
Mm-hmm.
So what I tell people is watch your diet. That's number one. Uh, that's always the biggest things, and it's all about just knowing what your body wants to eat, and just portion control is always a massive big thing. As far as like ab workouts go, man, when it comes to doing side stuff with the sides, great stuff to do. Side planks are always the best thing to do. They're a great fat burner. If you're looking to like want to get like that nice chisel abs, I think I have it like on my TikTok. I have like an ab workout where it takes about 10-15 minutes to do, but it's very active. And everything from planks to 6-inch lifts to scissor kicks to uh God, what else? Flutter kicks. You can also hit up side planks as well. Like I said before, ab rollers are great. So there's all sorts of different things that you can do to help like get everything kind of tight and toned in.
That sounds good, man. Yeah, I might have to do that. You know, what I mean, I don't really eat a lot of fast food, man. It's just I eat a lot of country cooking and stuff. You know, mix it. You know, made with a lot of love. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when the doctors were like, they're like, yeah, we gotta check your cholesterol 'cause you're about that age. I was like, oh, I was sweating. You know what I mean? Like, oh man, you know, I'm gonna take it. They're like, nah, you're good. You're fine. I was like, woo, all right. You know what I mean? So I'm good for right now.
I know what you mean. I like one thing I love to make, and I don't make it as often as I used to, but I do make like this badass sausage and biscuit gravy casserole.
Mm,
And yo, I could just slay it like every single time I make it. But it's like that good, like stick to your ribs kind of feeling. But then like
mm,
after you eat a couple bites, you're like, bruh, I feel like I just digested a 10-pound weight.
mm-hmm.
It's not good.
Oh yeah. So yeah, that's that
It's good
stuff. You know, you're
tasting,
like,
not
oh, I'm
good
gonna
for
go
you.
and take a nap. You know, I got the itis. I'm gonna take a nap.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm done for the day. So I gotta ask, you know, I mean, you know, being in the Air Force, you know, and traveling around for wrestling, man, do you have any, you know, funny travel stories that have happened? Like maybe if you run into Chupacabra or something, or you've been over there to Italy and stuff. You said Germany. I know they got some crazy stuff over there, man. You know, anything crazy happen over there? You know?
All right, so I'll share this story with you guys. Uh, I don't know. Are you guys aware of like how good military stories start? You should be, Remy. You should definitely. So,
Somewhat, I
I
guess. Yeah.
and also, if we're not allowed to curse on here, I'll substitute out the word.
No,
So
you know, go
normally,
for your thing.
You're good.
okay, good military stories always start off with no shit, there I was. So no shit, there I was in Iraq, right? And we're in the middle. We're driving from the airfield over to. We're about to go get food, right? We're gonna go hit the decaf. Um, all of a sudden, the alarms start blaring off, right? Brr, brr, brr. Incoming, incoming, incoming. That is the speaker to let you know that we're being attacked on our base. So in our vehicle, uh, my staff sergeant slams on the gas. We kept telling him hit the brake because there's a shelter like right next to us. We could just run in there and we'd be okay, right? It's a hardened shelter. We'll be fine. Instead, he slams on the gas. And we're like, yo, what are you doing? So I bail out the truck as it's moving. I run into this air shelter, and so he ends up throwing the car in park. We all jump in, and then when I was like, "What are we doing? What's going on?" And my tech sergeant at the time, my E6, goes, "Where were you taking the truck?" And he's like, "Well," and my so you have to pardon me, but he was from Georgia, so he was like, "Well, I was gonna park the truck right next over to that Hard Air shelter over there." And we're like, "Which one?" He's like, "The one off to the left." I was like, "The one filled with jet fuel?" And he was
Mm,
like, "Well, it's a hardened shelter." I was like, "But this is a truck that we just filled up with gasoline." I was like, "We are looking to die." I was like, "That's not a good look. We have mortars and rockets being fired in our base, and you're like, hey, let me park this truck right next to the shelter with a jet fuel in it." I was like, "That's a great thought process." And he was like, "Well, I thought it was." Like that's why you're not allowed to drive anymore. So
oh
that
man.
was
Oh man.
probably about the trippiest thing that happened. And I mean, I don't know if you want to hear one from Homefront. this is one of my favorite stories. So no shit, there we were in Hawaii. Um, and this Marine had just came back from Iraq, and we were all just kind of seeing him. He was like celebrating. He just wanted to be by himself, right? He had a couple drinks, and this girl like asked him to dance. The thing is, what a lot of people don't realize is that the military isn't really welcomed on the island of Hawaii, right? At all, because there's a lot of stuff that happened. There's a lot of history. If you don't know, go Google it. It's definitely worth reading. Anyway, so this Marine's dancing with this Hawaiian girl, and this Hawaiian comes up and he's like, I don't like you dancing with my cousin. And guy was like, yo, I'm sorry. I'll leave her alone. He was trying to walk away. This dude goes, nah, fuck you, brother. We gonna fight right now. So they go outside. It starts off 1-on-1 and quickly becomes a 3-on-1 situation. So we see a couple other Marines running, and you can tell, and Remy's gonna know, you can tell who's who based off of haircuts, right? So you see all these dudes with these like close shaven hairs, right? They're all running in. One dude, hoorah! And they start fighting, right? And what starts off as a start off as a 1-on-1, now turns to a 3-on, turns into a 3-on-3, and we're just watching. And all of a sudden, a couple more Hawaiians like jump into this fight, right? So now it's 5-on-3. But then we see like a couple other dudes who don't look like Marines, but they also don't look like uh like like Navy or Air Force. So we're like, oh, they must be Army. Anyway, they jump in and they start into a fight. And then more people jump in, right? And so then we see a couple dudes that we knew from Pearl Harbor, they jump into this fight. And so we see some more people jump into this fight. So what started off as 1-on-1 ended up quickly turning into a 40-man battle royal.
Nice.
Which was awesome because me and my 8 friends, who we're all Air Force, we were there together. We took 2 cars to go hang out in Waikiki in this place called Lulu's, which we don't know why we were there on a Friday night. We shouldn't have been, but we were all drinking and we jump in too. And I remember my buddy, my buddy's like, he's like, Miller, which one do I hit? I was like, the ones that don't look like us, bro. And I remember like hitting a dude, turning around, and this dude who was clearly a Marine just punched me right in the face. And I grabbed Mike by the shoulder and I was like, Mike. And he's like, what? I was like, fuck them all. And I turned around and I just push kicked the next dude right in front of me. And then we just hear the sound of tear gas getting dropped because there's probably 50 people in this fight, man. And it was, I remember going to work the next day. I had this huge black eye. And my boss was like, do I even want to know what happened last night? I was like, man, I ran into this friend. He's like, what's your friend's name? I was like, Knob, first name Door. I was like, I have clumsy feet. What can I say?
That's right. That's right. Oh, man.
I've heard that excuse so many times, you know. Oh, where did you get that black eye from? Yeah, I fell. Yeah, right.
I
fell
into a fist, man.
Oh, I mean, I was trying to go to a bathroom. It was dark, man. I tripped and fell.
The part that got me was
Showerhead literally fell on my face.
Got I can't believe that Marine went hoorah and got
it was the craziest because there's like so many, like what's so weird is that like on that island, right? I love, by the way, like Hawaii will always be my second home. Like always. Like I have it tattooed. I have like the state flower tattooed here. Like I love the island of Hawaii and I love Oahu. Like that is my place. I have a lot of friends still there. Talk to them all the time. But the thing about like the islands is like you get what you give, right? So if you give like a lot of respect and a lot of love and a lot of aloha, like you're gonna get all back. But when you come in with the disrespect, that is what you get handed. And then you learn, I will give respect to this island. And it's like one dude running in, just screaming out hoorah. You clearly know, you're like, you have a target, bro, and you about to get knocked out. And there's nobody in the world, I would say this hands down, in the world, like Hawaiians, like are bred for fighting. Like some of the best fighters in the UFC come from the islands. And like I don't think people understand, like the Polynesian fighters are like there to death. And like I was like, I'm making friends with all these dudes because they're like, this is like my family. This is my Ohana right here. Like I get so hyped thinking about the islands, but they give so much love, so much passion back to you that when you have nothing else to do but to give that love back. So whenever people ask me like what I consider home, like my home will always be like my hometown will always be Nebraska. My love will always be sitting on the islands of Hawaii, and then wherever I'm at, that's obviously where home's gonna be at because obviously my family, my wife, and my daughter are here. But yeah, the islands, bro, I can never do enough to put the islands over. Like they get all the love.
Man, I've seen some. I remember one time when of course, I was stationed in Japan. I was in the city of Fukuoka, which is near our base. And I remember I was partying one time, and I saw this huge dude. Now I'm 5'9". Last time I weighed, I'm like 250 something pounds. So I'm like, I consider myself a big guy. Then I saw this guy was like taller than me, and he's broader than me, and we're just having some friendly chatter. So I'm like, hey, where you from? And he's like, Tonga. I'm like, brother, I would not, I would not want to fight you unless I had to. If I had, if I had to fight you in a boxing match, I would just throw in the towel and just go my way, man. I'd be like, man, forget this, man. I got a date. I ain't trying to mess up my face, man. Just take the win, man.
You
Guy
got
was huge.
I was
Gee,
I was on Lure Street, and anybody who knows Waikiki knows what Lure Street is all about. So I was on Lure Street. I had been drinking again, but there's this kid. He came out and he's just like barking. Yo, man, I'm from New York City, dude. We the East Coast. We the best of the best of the best. We the toughest dudes. And I was like, bro, you on? And I remember shouting it out, brother. You on the islands, and we do nothing but fight here, bro. We kicking your ass. And as I go to walk, this big ass paw like came right across my pec, and I look up, and it's it's one of my friends, and he's like, "Nah, brother, we got this." And he pulls me back, and I see this other dude blitz past my other shoulder, and then I just hear this kid go, "No, no, no!" Silence, silence. I was like, should have been talking shit.
There you go.
I learned that a lot of times the ones that say, "Yeah, I'm from do 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 do," they're the ones that get beat up in their own hood. So I mean, all that, yeah, I'm from New York, I'm from this. I'm like, no, my guy, no, no, you're the guy that's just the noisemaker in there that the guys probably bring around for some comedy or something. Yeah, you're not, dude. Just be humble, sip on some drinks, and just eat some food. It's
I'm like, yeah, bro, you got this. Go ahead, take care of it. I was like, you clearly, whatever town you're claiming from, you came from the block called K and O, because that's the only place you're gonna be at. Don't talk.
Rob, go ahead.
Man. That's right. That's right. Yeah, I only got like one more question, man, before I pass it on back, man. I just do gotta ask, man. I'm always get caught watching the same old movies and TV shows over, and I call them comfort shows and stuff, man. I'll watch the same stuff over and over again. You know what I mean? Like I could be doing housework, or whatever, and throw something on, man. So I gotta ask, are there any new movies or TV shows you're watching? Because I'm always trying to find something new.
So my favorite show right now is The Boys on Amazon
Ooh,
Prime.
okay, yeah,
I
yeah.
love The Boys. It's such a great show.
Mhm.
I was like, uh,
I
besides
like
The
how they did
Boys,
the Ant-Man theory. Remember that theory of Endgame where they're like Ant-Man's going to shrink down and go up in Thanos, and then everybody, oh man, no, they actually did that in The Boys. I was like, are you serious? Like, am I really watching this? Like, oh my God, I'm dying laughing. Like, that's the funniest thing ever. Like,
I'm a massive. That's my go-to. Honestly, if I call it my comfort shows, I go back and watch Disney Plus, but I'll watch like things that I watched like as a kid. So X-Men animated series,
mm,
Amazing Spider-Man. Another show I love watching is Spider-Man XD. Uh, that show is in particular Spider-Man XD. They have one of my favorite episodes of all time called Ultimate Deadpool. You guys can go check it out. It's on Disney Plus. It's easy to find. And outside of that, man, uh, I'm just a fiend for like just good cartoons, like just any good cartoon. Like I'm not worried about what kind. Darkwing Duck, Gargoyles.
yes.
Uh, clearly it shows I'm a '90s kid at heart. Static Shock. I'm like a massive fan of Static Shock. So, and then right now too, the other one I love watching, and obviously you could tell, like most of my world revolves around comics. Harley Quinn. I love the Harley Quinn TV show. It's so good. And Titans and Doom Patrol. There you go. So
Oh
I'm putting
yeah.
over. See, HBO, I don't know why you're not paying me. I'm putting over all your shows, okay?
Is Doom
Just like
Patrol?
Deadpool, I do it too.
I don't mean to cut you, Red Dog. Is Doom? 'Cause I watch most. I watch Titans. I watch The Boys. I'd also recommend one for you. I don't know if you're interested, but Stargirl on Arrowverse is pretty good. Unfortunately, it's ending this season. But
Yeah.
Doom Patrol, out of 5 stars, what would you give it? Because I've been curious about it, but
It's pretty
I'm kind
good.
of I don't know if I want to check it out.
Season 1, I definitely would give 5 stars. 100%. One of my favorite episodes on there is all focused around Diana Guerrero. And she has this beautiful portrayal of like what happens to her to cause the fractures that happen with her. So you get to kind of dive into the whole world. Season 2, it was not as good as season 1, but season 3 definitely like picked up where everything else was leaving off. So I definitely would recommend. I would say, for me, probably like a 9.5 for season 1. Season 2 was probably more sitting around. I think like 8 or 9. I kind of have to go back and rewatch. But then after that, I think season 3 kind of brought you back and put right at a 9. So I rate it really high because I'm a huge fan of Brandon Fraser. I love everything that's going on with Negative Man. So between Robot Man and Negative Man, and obviously, like, I can't remember Diana Guerrero's character's name because I can only, my favorite character from her was Silver Tongue, because Silver Tongue is like the idea that you get to use words as a weapon. Legitimately, I was like, that's the greatest superpower of all time.
Hmm. That's right. That's right. When you said Darkwing Duck earlier, man, I've been humming that theme song in my head. This like just Darkwing Duck, let's get dangerous. Darkwing Duck. I'm just like, oh man, I'm
I've
humming it now. So
actually,
now,
I've
now I
actually,
gotta go watch it.
I've actually said it in a wrestling match where like I'll have a guy and like I pied him into a corner and I was like, let's get dangerous. And like only a few people knew what I was referencing, but the fact that they got it, I was like, yes, let's go.
I'd sit there. I'd be like, yeah, can you say that? I'd be like, oh my God. I had to turn my head and be like, oh man. That'd be funny.
I think that's like one of my favorite things to do is that like just take a moment and then just like completely change the tone of it, right? I was at a let's see, I was at HWT. That's where I was in New Jersey, and I was working a 4-way match, right? And I was in the middle of a match, and I felt something hit me in the back, right? I couldn't figure out what it was. And it was a rubber chicken, and so I grabbed the chicken. I look at my opponent. I look at the ref. I look back at the chicken. I look at him, and I look at the ref. And I was like, "Hey, yo, hold my cock." And I had him, and I just hear, "You're an asshole," and the dude like turns his face and just like hides it because he's like trying not to laugh. But yeah, that happened in a match.
That's funny. That's hilarious, man. Oh man. Now, before I pass it on back to Remy, I do want to say, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule, coming on chat with us, man. It was a blast to have you on here, chatting wrestling and all that good stuff, man. Hearing Hawaii stories and all that. I want to say, good luck to all your wrestling, everything you do in wrestling and podcasting and all, and good luck for this Saturday. You know, well, I just wish you all good luck 'cause I'm probably refereeing that match, so I got to keep it right down the middle. I just wish everybody good luck and everybody comes out safe.
You know what? I appreciate that you say you would call that right down the middle because the last time I checked, right, it was weird, but there was 4 people in that ring the last time we was at 1CW, and one of those guys looked like the referee. Just saying. Ignorant dogs are paying attention. We definitely know. We know what it is. Y'all might not, but we definitely, I knew what I saw. I brought it up. Ain't nobody answered my question yet. So we're gonna get answers on Saturday.
Rob, you better call that match down the middle, bro. Trust me. If that man comes hunting you, I can't help you. Maybe Kathy could, but I can't help you.
I don't know, Rob. You better. I'm telling you right now, if you don't call it down the middle, it won't take 2 to make a thing go right. It would just take 1. This one.
That's right. That's right. I'm like Bill Alfonso, right down the middle, man. That's how we go. We just
But Red Dog, I just gotta say, man, on behalf of myself, Rob Bass, and Kathy and our other co-hosts who couldn't be here, we at Ringside Society, we thank you very much for, taking first off, once again, stepping up, taking the oath, serving your country. I hope you have an enjoyable Veterans Day this Friday. Make sure you get yourself some good food. A lot of places got those Veterans Day specials. Some free breakfast and so on. So, you definitely earned it. So, hope you have an enjoyable day this Friday. And also, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule, to, be on our show and shoot the breeze about your career and resting and all that good stuff as well too. Hopefully when I get down there, I could get a picture with you. I'm gonna try to make my way down there one of these days because I'm seeing a lot of interesting things from 1CW and CCW. And I'm like, yeah, I got to make it down there, man. I mean, there's a lot popping off, and I like what I see, so I definitely got to make it happen. But before we shut this show down, where can fans find you on social media when they want to find out where your next appearances, purchase Red Dawg merchandise, which is available, y'all? He's gonna give y'all links in a second. And where can books and promoters find you when they want to book you for their shows as well?
All right. Well, one, happy Veterans Day to you too, just in case like I don't happen to slip into the DMs and say, you deserve it too, man. Like, you're gonna have to go get your IHOP breakfast, right? And then, probably get like Applebee's for like dinner, or maybe Chili's, or, get a free bloomin' onion over at Outback. Look, I'm dropping all these names. I'm letting my people know, hey, yo, these are where you can get stuff. All right. Get
Yep.
yourself that free donut from Krispy Kreme, because that's what you really want in this life. All right. So I got you, right? Just go get it. But more importantly, if you guys want to find me, all my social media platforms are the same. It's legitimately _Red Dawg 85. So whether you're on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Clapper, you can even find Red Dawg 85 on YouTube. So you guys can check out all my matches that I've had on there. You guys want to go buy my merch, foryourwear.com/red-dawg. It's pretty quick to find. Or if you just go to foryourwear.com, scroll all the way down, you'll see my logo. It's right there. And then you click on it, and then you go buy my merch, and then wear it to the show, and I'll autograph it for you because I love doing that. It's fun. Unless you don't want me to, and then I'll just like sign your arm or something because you're leaving with a signature. Other thing, one thing I do want to talk about too before, and thank you guys for letting me have this platform. Make sure you go out there and just, a lot of veterans will tell you not to thank them, right? Because it's not a job that we do it because we volunteer for that. Thanking us for our service, it's appreciated. It's not always necessary. It's one thing we just, hey, humble heroes. That's what at the end of the day, that's what most of us are, right? We appreciate it, but we just want you to know it's not always necessary. Like we get it. We love it when you guys are safe. So that's what it is. And that's also why I became a personal trainer, was because one thing is that, and Remy can attest to this, when you're in the military, you have this job, right, of like giving back to people, and you're defending something that's bigger than you. When you get out of the military, the first thing that you lose is that. So for me, being a personal trainer allows me to give back to people and to help them, right, find their way in life. And that's why I love doing what I do. So, it gives me that chance to have that second living of giving back to the community and helping people change their lives for the better. So that's really where all of it comes from. It's just whatever we want to be about. If you guys want to catch up with me, you guys can catch up with me at 1CW this weekend. You guys can catch up with me actually at Voltage Pro Wrestling, November 18th. That's going to be in Hagerstown, Maryland. And then after that, I'll be back at 1CW at the beginning of December. And then I'll be at SWA in good old Shady Grove, Pennsylvania. It's gonna be a lot of fun. There's a lot of cool events. And after that, 2023 comes around, you guys can all hit me up at bookreddawg@gmail.com. That's the easiest way to get a hold of me. And if you want to bring me on your shows, I'm looking to go all over the place. This last year, I set a goal out of debuting in 9 new promotions. I actually went to 11, which was very cool, but also very taxing. So I'm just, I just want to go and be a part of a show, serve a bigger cause, entertain a lot of fun fans, and just do my best. So if you guys want me, bookreddawg@gmail.com. Also, guys, go out buy my merch. If you guys want to check out the podcast, which you guys probably should do, tweet at us, 3count_pod. You guys go 3count pod for IG and TikTok. You guys can actually follow us on YouTube at the 3count podcast. We have our own merch right there, 3count podcast. Pro Wrestling Tees. Also, for your wear, we're gonna be launching that store here soon. And then you guys can comment, tweet at us, do all those good things, right? Share it out with your friends, comment, and then if you're not, you're just waiting for our next episode to drop because we're about to get to 300 episodes with our guests, and we have a pretty special guest lined up. So hopefully, you guys will pop when you see the graphic drop for that episode.
Awesome. We're looking forward to it. Congratulations on making that 300th episode as well. Y'all definitely make sure you follow this man. He's doing great things. He's did great things, for his country. He's still doing great things for the community. So definitely make sure you follow him. If you can't make the shows he's on, matter of fact, if you're in Houston, Delaware, or any of the surrounding areas, definitely make sure you check out 1CW and also CCW. You're getting two companies, two shows for the price of one. So make sure you show up at Houston, show your support indie wrestling. If you can't show up at 1CW, like Red Dawg said, he has merch on For Your Wear. Shout out to Blue Magic, one of our past guests as well, too, on 15 Minutes of Fandom. Um, I've seen the merchandise itself. It looks sweet. Make sure y'all cop some merchandise. That's another way you can support indie wrestling. You know, if you don't support indie wrestling, like I said, I'm gonna just have Rob come to your house and just eat all your food, and he's gonna leave a skipping rope in your pot. That means you gotta skip that meal because Rob done raided your fridge and took all your pot roast, the mashed potatoes, and all that. And Thanksgiving is coming up, so he'll do it. You don't want a bad Thanksgiving, so make sure you support indie wrestling. It's a great thing. And whenever some jabroni comes and is like, "Yeah, I got the new Red Dawg shirt from Shop AEW Shop," you be like, "Yeah, get out of here. I had this stuff from since he was on For Your Wear, man. I'm a real fan." Yeah. But
Oh,
support indie wrestling, man.
one thing too, what everybody needs to do today, right now, whenever you're watching this episode, just go on Twitter and tweet out at the Renegade Twins and just be like, at Rob, or go at Renegade Twins, and then be like, Robin, I hear you're trying to get a one-on-one Red Dawg. All about that life. Robin, I know you're out there. I know you're watching this episode right now, and you and I, we have some beef going on, and we're about to handle that somewhere, sometime. But for those who don't know, you'll know soon enough why we have issues. Robin,
Red Dawg, I know you're a fighter. I know you got ignorant dogs, but make sure you got ignorant dogs by your side because Robin not only has Charlotte, but she also has. I'm just giving you a heads up. She's part of this group called Team Nasty with Nasty Leroy. I don't know if you ever met him, but I think she's still. Just be careful, bro, because I don't want you guys get an ambush and just looking out for a military brother. But
I appreciate it. We're always ready for war.
Yeah, so y'all heard. Definitely tweet Robin Renegade that. Love to see that happen. But with that being said, it's about time for us to shut this show down. My eyelids are getting heavy. My stomach is rumbling. That means it's time for dinner and a nap. Maybe not in that order. But before I indulge in those activities, Rob Bass, the Charlie Haas to my Shelton Benjamin, the Sami Zayn to my Jey Uso, and the Tommy to my Ghost. Where can fans find you on social media when they want to talk wrestling, find out my next appearances, purchase Rob Bass merchandise, and where can bookers and promoters find you when they want to book you for their shows?
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Rob_Base82, and then Facebook, Rob Base. And then this Saturday, yeah, you can catch me down in Houston, Delaware, 1CW, CCW, putting on a badass show. You know what I mean? I think there's like 10, 11, 12, 13 matches on the line, but the one that's going to be on there, everybody needs to check out. Like I said, it's going to be violence with extreme prejudice. Is the ignorant dogs versus the workhorses. It's a gang warfare match. You know what I mean? There's going to be blood, guts, and ass everywhere. Hey, just be careful. It's going to be like what was that? A Gallagher show. You know what I mean? Front row, you better wear one of them things. You know what I mean? Because you might be getting hit with something. So be prepared.
Awesome. So yeah, y'all definitely make sure you check out 1CW and check out CCW. If you can't make the show, I believe CCW is going to be on Title Match Network. 1CW, I don't know where you can find it online. I think y'all still doing Championship Wrestling from Delaware, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it's on Facebook Live too.
You can check it out on Facebook Live. So make sure you check out the great work that they're doing down there in Delaware if you can't make that show for whatever reason. But If you want to follow me on social media, not that I have anything cool to say these days, but who knows? Maybe you'll hear me say something cool. You can find me on Twitter at @TheRemyBlue. I'm also on Instagram at @TheRemyBlue and also on Facebook under the alias Remy Blue. So you can find me on those platforms. Our podcast is also on social media. We're on Twitch at Ringside Society 2019, Instagram and Twitter at Ringside Society. We're on Facebook as a Facebook group. Just type in Ringside Society and you'll see us there. On Spotify. We're also on Teespring, and that's where we sell our official Ringside Society merch. We have T-shirts, we have tank tops, we have long sleeve shirts, we have hoodies for the cold weather that's coming up, and we also have coffee mugs for your favorite warm beverage. And we just released a new design called Stripe Lives Matter. That was for the referees. Definitely check that out. And with that being said, once again, yes, all proceeds go back into keeping our show afloat. It doesn't go back into our pockets. And last but not least, we also have a YouTube channel, which is where we have a lot of cool episodes like this one, like the one we have with Miles Millennium, the Renegade Twins, and many others as well too. Ty Awesome, several people from 1CW. We even had Sean Hardy and Marcello on our show. Make sure you check out our YouTube channel. Check out those interviews. And while you're at it, make sure you subscribe to all our videos because we got a lot of cool stuff coming up. And I promise you, you don't want to miss a thing like Aerosmith in 1998. With that being said, we just want to thank everybody tuning in live tonight. We really appreciate it. We strive on being one of the best wrestling podcasts a wrestling fan should listen to, and we're going to keep on striving as well. To those of y'all that listen later on when you get a chance, thank you very much in advance. And those of y'all that hate us, can't stand us, really and truly wish you'd go away. Well, like myself at the Golden Corral and Rob Bass at the Taco Festival, we ain't going anywhere for a while.
Oh, I was gonna say they hate us because they ain't us.
And we ain't stopping. But with that being said, we just want to let everybody know that we're very well unaware. It's not new to us that everybody and their grandparents and their parents have a podcast. Well, not your grandparents' podcast. We're not your parents' podcast. As a matter of fact, we're not just any podcast. Hashtag we are not the same, just like Deadpool. So with that being said, Rob Bass, one time for the mind, one time for the people, one time for the wrestling culture, and one time for the ignorant dogs, and one time for former U.S. Air Force vet, personal trainer, who's gonna kick some butt at 1CW this Saturday. Red Dawg.
Woo!
What type of podcast are we?
We're the Wrestling Fans Podcast.
That's right, we're the Wrestling Fans Podcast, Ringside Society, and we'll be back next week with another impressive guest on another impressive episode. But until then, we just want y'all to do 4 favors for us. Stay safe, stay healthy, be excellent to each other, and party on, dudes. We out. Peace.
See y'all. Good night. Stay classy, Delaware.